am going to be doing the Drugstore makeup tag. I was tagged in this tag. How many times will I say tag in this video? Take a shot. I was tagged in this tag by Makeup by Ali MUA. I was tagged by Ali, and I figured it'd be fun to share my favorite drugstore products. I think we all have different favorites because, I mean, different things work differently for different people. Obviously, that goes without saying, but also because not everyone's experienced everything that the drugstore has to offer. So let's just jump into it. If you could only use one drugstore / affordable brand, what would it be? This is so tough for me because I think every brand sort of has like its hit or misses. So I don't think that I have a specific brand that I could get every single thing from. But I do have two favorites that sort of tick most of the boxes, if that makes sense. So the first brand would be Maybelline. Now, this is kind of controversial because some people don't like Maybelline. I would say I could get every single thing in every different category that's within my top 5 drugstore items, except for eyeshadow. So, like foundation, Fit Me foundation, I love. I think it's beautiful. It does have a little bit of a flashback, so bad for weddings and photography and things, but it's a great like everyday dewy look. Well, the dewy one, that's the one that I like. I don't like the matte one. I've never tried the matte one. I don't know why I said that. The Fit Me foundation is one of my all-time favorites. The Fit Me loose powders are my currently favorite product that I use to powder. It doesn't leave me cakey or anything. I have used Physicians Formula in the past, and I think my makeup was kind of cakey back then, but I haven't really expanded too much to be able to tell you for sure, like, okay, Maybelline tops everything else. It doesn't last very long. I did notice that recently because it's summertime and it's Florida, and yeah, but it is a very beautiful loose powder. Then they've got the Ink Superstay liquid lips. I don't necessarily like their lipstick, their bullet lipstick formula. I don't like the fragrance that comes along with it. A lot of fragranced bullets tend to break me out around my lip area, so. But eyeliners, they're good with. Mascara, falsies is my favorite. I think they discontinued the stiletto line, which is the one that I used. But I've been using, I mean, it's not the most phenomenal tip. I don't know where it is. It's something Maybelline. Where did it go? Oh, Master Precise All Day liquid liner. This one's pretty good. I would say it's a pretty solid line. It goes on smoothly. Yeah, no complaints right now. But so I think in terms of all over face, their bronzer blush is not a very big line, but I do like their blushes. I don't know if I've tried any of their bronzer products, but overall I'd say Maybelline kind of ticks all the boxes for me except for eyeshadow. I think I did buy the nude palette that was supposed to be the dupe for Urban Decay when it had come out, but I wasn't flabbergasted with it. Okay, so the next brand I would say would be ColourPop, except I haven't tried everything from ColourPop. But the one thing I know that they do incredible on with affordable prices would be their eyeshadow, which is what Maybelline was lacking. But ColourPop has everything else. I just haven't tried it personally. But there are so many great reviews out there for them, and I do plan on in the future purchasing from them. I think one of the things that draw me back is the fact that their shipping costs And if you buy ColourPop from, let's say, the Ulta website, where you might be able to hit that free shipping threshold, well, with ColourPop, I think it's $35. I'm cheap. So I don't want to buy a bunch of products that I don't know if I'll like online. I don't know. It's a conundrum. I'll eventually try the rest of the stuff from ColourPop. But, oh, I went to purchase their hydrating mist setting spray, something, coconut, something, and it was out of stock. So I would have tried that had it not been out of stock. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What's the most underrated drugstore affordable brand / affordable brand? LA Girl. I didn't want to take something that somebody might have already mentioned, and a lot of things are getting a lot of hype now, and I think LA Girl did hit a little bit of hype with their concealers, which definitely do deserve it. I do like the LA Girl concealers. They have such a big shade range, and they're very nice for brightening underneath the eye. I don't know if they're necessarily good for hiding spots, but they're pretty good. And then everything else that I've tried from them is really great, especially my new favorite thing from them specifically are these Shockwave neon eyeliners from them. They're gorgeous, and one thing, I don't know if it says it on here, but it seems like they're waterproof to an extent. I had to use a makeup remover for it. It doesn't mention it, but they are I rubbed my hand. Once it said, I rubbed my hand, and there was no movement at all. And I did have to use a makeup remover wipe, because even when I put my hand under the sink, it still didn't remove it. So they're really good, and they're very pigmented, very bright. And then their foundations I've tried are pretty good. I haven't tried any of their setting powders, but I did see a lot of people buy them. Their lipsticks, I don't think that I tried them, but I think that they deserve more because they're so cheap, but it's actually pigmented. It's actually good quality that they have. So that's what I would say. What's the most overrated drugstore / affordable brand? I would say Physicians Formula. Don't get me wrong, like the butter bronzer is out of this world. I haven't tried the butter blushes. They might be good. I haven't tried them. And I used to like their translucent shimmer powders, but they didn't do much but put a whole bunch of shimmer on you. Like, of all the things I think they do well, it's definitely the bronzer and blush category. However, everything else from them is just subpar. Like, if it's not straight up garbage, it's just not worth the price tag, and they have gone up. Like, if you go to the drugstore now, like at Walmart, I think they're $14.99, but if you go to the drugstore, a Physicians Formula bronzer is $17.50. $17.50. What? I'm not paying $17.50 for a bronzer from the drugstore. So instead, I bought a Milani bronzer, which was very nice. A little too dark for my complexion right now. I mean, a little too light for my complexion right now because I have a tan. But what is your favorite drugstore product under $5? I don't know. I think most of my drugstore products are between the $5 and $10 range. So I think that's really hard for me to narrow down for you. Like my favorite mascara is $12.99. So yeah. My e.l.f. concealer, my e.l.f. hydrating camo concealer, that's $6. I use LA Girl lip liners. Those are $2.99. I wouldn't say that they're nice and smooth and pigmented. They go on very beautifully. There's no dragging, but they don't last very long, but they are nice, and they come in beautiful colors. So But for $2.99, like, how can you beat that? I did recently purchase on Jen Love's Reviews recommendation the Essence Lash Mascara. This, at first, when I tried it, I was like, oh, this is definitely not comparable to my collab mascara. But this guy is $2.99, and he does a really good job with the bottom lashes. And I'm gonna wait and start using it once my collab mascara is completely dry. I'm gonna start using this on purpose to see if I can handle it. The hidden gem from the drugstore that no one talks about. I couldn't think of anything that I really like that nobody talks about other than my Revlon HD liquid lips. The thing with these are, it's like, they're not a standard liquid lip where they dry down. Like, this is a L'Oreal, and this gives you the butthole lip. But I have liner down underneath it, so. But the Revlon ones go on more similarly to a bullet lipstick, but they're liquid, so it's easier precision for me. I like the doe foot applicator to get like nice crisp lines. They're creamy. Well, they go on creamy. They dry down a little bit. They don't dry down a lot, but they last pretty long for what I would consider. I mean, I don't know. But they come in beautiful colors too. My favorite is Passion my favorite, or is it the darker red one? Addiction? Is that a red? I think this might be the one. No, that's a pink. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Passion for now. Passion. It's the perfect blue toned red, I would say. It's a really beautiful shade, and I think would suit a lot of different skin tones, and it makes my teeth look brighter because it is bluer toned. I guess it doesn't make everyone look, I don't know, because I'm pink. Why would blue? I don't know. I don't know how color theory works. I really should get into that. So next question. Number 6, what's your favorite drugstore foundation? The L'Oreal 24-Hour Foundation is my all-time favorite foundation currently. Fit Me would probably, the Maybelline Fit Me would probably be my second favorite. My third favorite would be discontinued, the Hello Gorgeous. Was that what it's called? It was the Katy Perry CoverGirl foundation. I don't buy high-end foundations, so I can't compare. I've gotten samples of things, but obviously that doesn't really give you a good, you know, thing for it. A good idea. There we go. But the 24-Hour Foundation is, I would say, it goes on very thin, but it's not a light coverage. So I would say it would go on medium, and then you can build it up. And it just dries in like your skin, I swear, to me anyway. It doesn't sit on the skin. It's not like a thick foundation, but it does cover everything. It's like paint almost. It's kind of crazy, but it's good. I like it. What products do you tend to buy more at the drugstore versus high-end? Pretty much everything except for eyeshadow. Eyeshadow is the only thing that I will really go out of my way to buy high-end or like save up or build a budget for it, incorporate it into my budget. Everything else I'm kind of cheap with, like even brushes. I just don't feel the need to spend so much money on a name. I really don't. Like if someone were to gift me something from Marc Jacobs or Tom Ford or Givenchy or, you know, Guerlain or anything like that, obviously I would accept it, right? But I would never in a million years purchase. And even things like Too Faced and Urban Decay and Anastasia Beverly Hills, unless I can get some kind of discount, I'm probably not buying those either. Especially things with foundation. Like buying foundation, you use a lot of foundation, and these bottles are fairly small. And so you're spending $30 on a bottle that maybe will last you a month. And it's like, and that's just your foundation. So no, for me, I mean, maybe it'll last you longer than a month, but between 1 and 3 months, let's say, if you're using it religiously every day. But for me, it's not worth that cost. It's not. As far as mascara, I've already found my holy grail in the collab. So it's like, why am I even gonna spend $30 for something? Because I received the It Superhero in an Ipsy box. I have the Pure Big Look mascara. I have the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. I got those all in my Ipsy. And honestly, oh, and I have the Bad Gal Bang that I got as a free sample from, not a free, but a free birthday gift from Ulta. None of these compare to a $12.99 mascara. So I don't even feel the need to go out and buy those to see, because it's like, it just feels like a waste to me. Like, these just sit here and don't do anything because they're not good. Like, even the Essence $2.99 is better than those things that I listed. So I don't know. Maybe an eyebrow pencil, only because I like my CoverGirl micro eye pencil, but I'm always curious if there's something that's more permanent or that stays longer, because I wipe my eyebrows off regularly because I'm constantly playing with my eyebrows. So, okay. What drugstore brand do you think is overpriced? I think Physicians Formulas definitely gotten way too expensive. They're feeding in as if they're now mid-tier brands, and they're not. Like, yes, that bronzer, which has swept all of YouTube, yes, it's a really good bronzer, but it's still not. They probably still have cheaper ingredients. They're still not at that mid-tier level, and all of the rest of their products, I mean, 85% of their products are not it. Just not it. Like, their mascaras, their liners, those things have never worked for me. I mean, I guess everybody's different, but they've not worked well for me. They've been flaky or clumpy or whatever, and they're just not good. Their eye shimmer shadow palettes are garbage. Like, it's just, I don't know. They're not worth that price tag, and they're operating as if they are. And then my second one is CoverGirl was definitely on the cheaper side. It was like probably the cheapest out there as far as well-known. It's like, okay, not the dollar makeup, but the a little bit more pricey drugstore makeup. So CoverGirl was in that middle area where, you know, it might be $5 for a BB cream or something, or like, and then eventually it started rising and the prices started getting higher, and now it's like $13.49 for those exhibitionist cream shadows, and they're supposed to be like a dupe for the Stila? I don't remember. But they're supposed to be a dupe for those, you know, higher end, like, shimmery cream shadows, you know, liquid shadows. And I'm sorry, I'm not paying $13.49 for a single shadow from CoverGirl. Okay, so number 9 is, what's your favorite drugstore dupe? And because I really don't shop mid-tier or high-end, I don't do Ulta and Sephora that often, and if I do, it's just an eyeshadow palette. I don't really have dupes. Like, I wouldn't even know what to compare or whatever. Like, the Microfine eyebrow pencil is probably similar to the retractable pencil from Anastasia, but I couldn't even say that for sure because I've never tried it. Their brow gel is really good, but the drugstore eyebrow gels that I've used haven't been amazing. Like, I used a Physicians Formula one and I forget who, maybe Maybelline. So I do think that the Anastasia one is better. I got that from an Allure box. I'm such a cheap bee. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know anything direct. Like, what would the hydrating camo concealer be a dupe for? You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of great products that are in the drugstore because that's basically where I shop, but they're not specifically tied or correlated to another item, you know? I mean, I don't know. Okay, so number 10 is, what's the best drugstore eyeshadow formula? ColourPop, obviously. If we're speaking about online, ColourPop definitely, hands down, has the best pigmentation for the price of any company. ColourPop is very easy to blend. It's usually hits. There are a few misses, but mostly hits. I would recommend ColourPop to anybody. If we're talking about specifically in the drugstore, when I think to my time at CVS, single individual L'Oreal Infallible, I think they're more like a pressed pigment. They're not exactly like loose powder, but they're still loose. It's weird. It's like they're held together by something a little bit, but they're but anyway, those are really good. But that's the only thing from L'Oreal as far as eyeshadow goes that I've tried. The nude palettes are terrible by L'Oreal. They're just awful. They're worse than the Maybelline one. But the L'Oreal, in fact, my favorite is Endless Sea, and it's a beautiful turquoise with shimmer through it, and it is just so pigmented and just so beautiful, and I can lay it on my eyes and it just looks magical. So that's my favorite. What's the worst drugstore eyeshadow formula? ALMAY. Yeah, ALMAY. So it's even worse than Wet n Wild, which is kind of funny. Well, Wet n Wild's not that bad actually, but ALMAY carries a higher price tag, and ALMAY shadows do not transfer, they don't blend well, they don't show up pigmented, they look very muted and darker than in the pan. ALMAY is just garbage as far as eyeshadows. I don't know, I think they did come out with a new quad line right before I left on maternity leave, and they might be good. I haven't tried any of those, but the single shadows that they had before, the quads that they had before, everything I've ever tried from ALMAY as far as eyeshadow goes was garbage. I do like their eyeliner. Their eyeliner is really nice, but everything else, well, I don't know. I haven't tried their foundations, but as far as eyeshadows go, all of the eyeshadows are garbage, except maybe the new ones, I don't know. But I think they're garbage too, because I think people have returned them. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Drugstore brand you used to be crazy about, but not anymore. Revlon. So for a while, one of my favorite things was the Revlon cream shadows. It came in a quad. Mine was Seashell. I think they discontinued it. So then I started using not just nudes, but I didn't use the matte ones. I don't like matte highlight cream. It doesn't work for me. But it just mostly just looks like my skin. But those were really nice. I used to love, I love those Revlon lipsticks. but I liked also the lip pencils, crayons, the Revlon lip crayon, like Just Bitten crayon. Those were really nice for a while. I've used things in their photo ready line. I've used, my favorite mascara from them is the red all-in-one mascara, but I think they reformatted that somehow, I'm not sure. I used to be really excited about their stuff, but I'm just not. And I just don't feel like the quality goes hand in hand with the price for Revlon. Drugstore product you didn't expect to like, but totally wowed you. And I the Hydrating Camo Concealer. Drugstore product you didn't expect to like, but totally wowed you. The Hydrating Camo Concealer. I did not like the original camo concealer. I thought it was too cakey, too dry. It was terrible. And I was like, wow, this kind of sucks. Like, why? Because when it first came out, people were like, oh, this is so great. And I'm like, but this looks cakey. It looks terrible. But the Hydrating Camo Concealer is phenomenal. This is my new staple. I have it in the light one, and I have it a couple shades darker. Doesn't look like much darker here, but it's a couple shades darker now that I have my tan. But they're beautiful for highlighting, for all over concealing, like spot concealing, so you don't have to wear a full face of foundation. 14, favorite affordable eyeshadow palette right now. ColourPop Flutterby. That's the best for neutral mauve. Like, I would just get it as a neutral palette. It is on the mauvier side, but it's just so gorgeous. Every shade in there is gorgeous. Everything is pigmented and beautiful. I would show you mine right now, except my daughter dug her fingers into it. One day I will repurchase it, but everything is beautiful. I hate the glitters. Is there two? Or maybe there's just one. But their glitters are not like with the Tati palette, the glitters hold together more. Their glitters are just kind of looser, freer, and so I don't like them. But the whole rest of the palette is just gorgeous. Every single shade, every shadow in that palette is gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so I wanted to amend and add something to the answer about hidden gems from the drugstore. Impress nails. They are so good at sticking and they're so cute. I bought them and I held on to them for a while. I had gotten a coupon from getting them, so I wanted to save them for something special. And right about around the time when I was due to have my daughter, I was like, oh, let me put these on. And like the very next day, I ended up going into labor. So I went through labor. Next day, everybody was asking me, oh, your nails are so cute. Where did you get them done or whatever? And I'm like, oh, these are the Impress nails. Like, they're stick-ons. They're not even adhesive glue. It's it's adhesive. They're not even like the, super glue nails. They're just stick-ons, and they lasted a couple days after she was born. And honestly, when I tell you, I'm the worst with fingers. I jam my fingers. I break my nails. I do all kinds of terrible things with my fingers. But I can never manage to keep a manicure. I can never manage to keep things nice. So when I do have like artificial nails, if it's just me gluing them on with the super glue, a lot of times I break those off within a few days too. So the fact that stick-on sticky tabs lasted that long, lasted through a labor, and a few days after that, I was pretty impressed. So they lasted about a week. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope